Every golfer wants to hit it further and straighter. Which one's more important? Well, I am definitely going to say hitting it further is way more important. It's been proven. Mark Brody, author of Every Shot Counts, he's essentially debunked the myth that you got this game is about accuracy. Okay, he's essentially created the strokes gained metric, which has proven that it's much more advantageous to be longer, even if you're in the rough, as long as you've got a shot to the green, than it is to be in the fairway. So for most golfers, I would say getting longer is important, and being straighter is good as long as your misses are going to allow you to play your second shot. So if your misses are so wild that you're out of bounds and you're hitting a lot of penalty strokes every round, you definitely need to get more accurate. Okay, but if you're not missing a lot, or you're not losing a lot of golf balls or getting a lot of penalty strokes off the tee, it's about hitting the ball further. And if we want to hit the ball further, you ultimately have to gain horsepower. Okay, for us to gain horsepower, we need to increase overall strength, which is going to increase our power and speed. So increasing overall strength, here's the big three. You need to be able to squat, okay? Full range of motion, so that means your hip crease gets to knee level or slightly below, okay? You might have to work up to that. Squat down to a chair maybe here and then start to work your way down. Start with body weight, okay? And then build your way up, either holding a dumbbell or a barbell back squat, okay? Or a kettlebell in front, but we're gonna load that movement. Okay, we're not talking, 15 to 20 repetitions. Maybe if you are, just starting out, yeah, maybe you start off with 15 or 20 body weight squats and then you work up to a loaded weight for 10 reps. But we eventually want to be doing a heavier weight where 5 reps or 6 reps is really challenging with the weight. That's where you're going to gain strength through the legs to push down through the floor, which is going to increase your overall ability to create club head speed. Okay, the other two are the deadlift or the hinge. Same thing, this hinging motion, okay, with a deadlift, either with a kettlebell, dumbbells, or a barbell, is gonna give me the ability to push to the floor and hinge the hips, so vertical power in the lower body. And then horizontal push power, bench pressing motions with dumbbell or barbell, increasing your strength in all 3 of those. When I say strength, anywhere from like 3 to 5 repetitions, 3 to 6, okay? With a heavier load, with good form, that's how you're gonna gain strength. It's not 15, 20 repetitions with a really light weight. If you're doing that, sorry, you're not going to gain club head speed. And if you try and gain speed by doing speed training, you'll probably get injured. Being stronger is like having a suit of armor. The bigger and stronger your muscles are, the more protected they're going to be against injury. So those are your big 3 foundational: the squat, the hinge or deadlift, and the bench press. Make sure you're doing those on a regular basis, at least once a week with each of those lifts. That is key. For 3, or I would say about 3 to 5 repetitions, probably 5 to start. Again, if you're new to lifting, start with body weight, maybe higher in the rep range, but you're eventually working and progressing your way to lifting heavier loads for a lower amount of repetitions to build overall strength. Now, looking at accuracy, trying to improve your overall dispersion, there's some exercises I'm going to share with you today that are really going to help your ability to coordinate your body a little bit, to incorporate rotation into your body, and connection, so that your swing is a lot more simplistic and gives you a chance at maybe tightening that dispersion that we talked about, so you're not getting penalty strokes. First exercise we're going to take a band, get it around a steady anchor point. You could use a cable machine as well, but if you got a band, you could use a golf club or a dowel. I got a PVC pipe here. It's just a trunk rotation, okay? But we're going to pay attention to the lower body, keeping it stable, and the upper body rotating it as one unit. Most of the time I see people doing this exercise and the arms are going like this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this exercise, great. We want to be able to rotate your arms and trunk together. So when we set up for this exercise, you're going to press the arms out, one hand's on top of the band, one hand's underneath, band's about chest height. Pay attention here to what your arms and elbows are doing. Pro tip, your elbows should point down at the floor, maybe even in towards each other a little bit. You can see when I do that, I'm moving, my elbows are moving, but it's actually because I'm externally rotating the shoulder joint, so my arms and biceps will hug the chest. Now, if you think about this in terms of a golf swing, my arms and trunk are working together. I'm gonna do this here to keep it more simple, but arms and chest, you should feel like if you had a pen or a pencil tucked in there and in there, they would never fall out. You're keeping them tucked in, and I'm gonna turn away from the anchor point, keeping my lower body stable. So I'm turning my chest and arms together, okay? we've got this triangle between the arms and chest. It stays the same. Elbows stay straight, pointed at the floor, and I'm turning, using these muscles around the trunk, keeping that lower body. Press the legs into the floor, screw the feet into the ground so my legs stay stable. And you're gonna do about 8 to 10 of these in each direction, okay? If you need more resistance, heavier band, or move further away from your anchor point. These are your banded trunk rotations with a dowel, okay? And a tube, all right? So from there, we can move on. So we've got some rotational exercises, working at keeping those arms and body working together. That is super important. Ben Hogan would say in his 5 Foundations or 5 Lessons books, he would feel like he wanted the insides of his elbows to point at the opposite hip, right? So his arms and trunk would work together, okay? If your elbows are out here, you can see what's gonna happen. My arms are gonna separate from my trunk. So if that looks like you, we need external rotation. Really, really important. So that's why we're getting those elbows tucked in and down and then turning the trunk so that you can maintain that triangle through the swing. It's gonna help you stay connected and hit more fairways or not have your misses be as wild. So that's exercise 1. Exercise 2, really, really important, is to have good hip control on a single leg. So we take that dowel, you can use a golf club, driver, doesn't matter, something for balance. I'm gonna hold it out here. Whatever hand I've got that balance assist in, you can use a wall as well, stand beside a wall. This is to push this leg back as far as you can. Not lifting, I'm not trying to lift it up, I'm trying to kick back as far as I can, using this for balance. When you think you've gone as far back as you can, try and go back a little further. When I go back, the hip of the standing leg reaches back. That's what we're after. I'm getting this hip hinged, and now I'm in a position where I'm pushing that leg, reaching it back, and I'm putting a stretch back through this leg. Now I'm gonna try, and this is called a hip airplane. I'm gonna try and open up and bring this hip down. I'm gonna open the pelvis up. Think about turning your belly button away from the standing leg, and then I'm gonna turn my belly button down into the standing leg. This is where you're really gonna feel it. I'm gonna show you on this side so you can see. So I'm gonna open my belly button away from the standing leg, and then I'm gonna turn that belly button and my pelvis down on top of this standing leg. So you can see my hip is hinged behind my heel here, and I'm really loading this hip. I'm gonna open it up, and then I'm turning that pelvis down and in towards this leg, and I really, really feel this muscle working. So having good control of the hip muscles in the hip cuff, you've heard the rotator cuff, but this is your hip cuff working. This is what's gonna give you a lot more control. So it's gonna allow you to load into your backswing, and then it's gonna allow you to unload and get onto that lead side and internally rotate the pelvis on top of that hip. So doing those hip airplanes, again, about 10 each side, nice and slow, and work your way from a balance point, using a wall or this for balance. Eventually, we're gonna use something very light touch or no balance point, and keeping the hips square and using your balance here, and then coming down and opening up. So that gets really, really challenging. So start with the balance assist and work your way down. All right, so hope you guys are finding these exercises really helpful. If you are, hit that subscribe button. Let us know, that'll really help us out. It's gonna allow us to continue to deliver you great content. So moving on, our next exercise is just simply gonna be a jump, okay? We need to be able to put power down through the ground, okay? So if you're not able to jump, if you've had knee replacements or your knees are really, or hips really giving you issues, you can just simply fall into a squat position and work on catching yourself, okay? This would be a great place to start. But if you're able to jump, okay, just practice once you're warmed up. Jumping, obviously maybe after squats would be a great time to do it, is to load up and jump up as high as you can and catch yourself, okay? So trying to throw down, hinge the hips, knees, and ankles, and then you're gonna drive through the ground and explode up. So whether you jump straight up, and I would say we're not always trying to do like super rapid fire jumps, but a maximum effort. Do one jump as high as you can, catch yourself, reset, and then do another one. Again, just about 5 or 6 of them because we're going for a maximum effort, okay? You can also work at doing a broad jump. So forwards, I'm going from here, and I'm gonna jump forwards as far as I can, catch yourself, and walk back. You could also do a 180 jump. So I'm going from here, doing 180 degrees, and then coming back, okay? But trying to go up as I make that turn. So those jumps are really, really important to express power down through the ground. Again, low on the rep range, high on intensity. Okay, go as high as you can, but for only about 5 reps each side. Last exercise, split squat with rotation. So this brings it all together. We've got a split squat. So I've got a hip width stance, big step forward. I'm gonna come down towards the floor. Here's our split squat. We're gonna add trunk rotation into this movement. So I should be able to bring that, you wanna be able to bring that back knee almost to the floor and have good balance here. If you can do that, arms here or here, but open up the chest. As you come down, you're gonna turn the chest towards that lead leg and then come back up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. So loading the legs in that vertical pattern down into the ground, but I'm also rotating the trunk. And you can use a dumbbell here, dumbbells here to load the movement if you want to develop more strength here. But it's a great pattern to help your consistency of pushing through the ground and the pattern as well of rotating the trunk as you're using the legs to push against the ground. So that split squat with rotation, again, anywhere from 6 to 10 reps each side, working on building strength, progressing your way up. So those exercises are great accessories to your squat, your deadlift, and your bench press. Mix those in, add them as accessories to your main lifts to really help get overall distance and consistency in your golf swing. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll see you in the next one.